fantastic opportunity for myself and my
Well,
team.
it's a pleasure for me to have you here today and by extension, the key business community. So, without any further ado, we want to jump right in and I want to give you a warm official welcome to Corporate Corner. We want you to take some time, Ron, and
Yeah.
give us the background.
I would say I am a baby from the SMCL group of companies. I first
Ah,
started at Entertains, was there for about 4 years in the laboratory, right? So mixing colors and stuff like that was a fantastic opportunity. And then a good friend of mine who was the HR manager at the point in time, the Courtney Martinez, he saw some potential and he basically had set up an interview for me to come across the Carib Brewery. And that day I spent about 8 years at Carib. Carib was a phenomenal experience. Um,
wow.
I had a good relationship with one of the directors, Miss Virginia Clark. She reminded me a lot of my mother, funny enough. I mean, there's one occasion where we were having a discourse about something that was done. And before I could say Miss Clark, I said, Mommy. Yeah, it was embarrassing. So she watched me, I watched, and I was like, you know what? If I could actually utter those words to you, then it means that you would have meant a significant amount to me, I had a lot of respect for her. And Carib Brewery would have changed the way how I see business, the dedication that is applied to the job at the point in time, the professionalism. So I mean, Ans McCall, Pencer Pains, Caribbery, God bless those guys because they made me into the person that I am now. What my team and myself are proposing is to construct a facility to manufacture what we call food grade approved recycled PET resins. PET being polyethylene terephthalate. Basically, that's plastic bottles, big water bottles and stuff like that. That's what that's made out of. And so we would have met up at the Love Jack Junior MBA program. We just decided to choose manufacturing as the medium for which we diversified. Right now, I would have spent almost 20 years because I also own another company. I founded a company called Business and Process Engineering, and we basically supply engineering services and technologies more or less to the oil, gas, and petrochemical sector. So I looked at what's happening globally and what's happening with the energy sector, and I said, you know what, it's time to change and to more look at more sustainable um, initiatives to basically derive foreign exchange in Trinidad. And so that's where we ended up. I had the privilege of working very closely with upstreamers, being the BPs, the BGs. Shell wasn't there at the point in time, the EOGs. And so what happened was that there were some projects that required very specific technologies for which my company basically represents. And those projects were very novel. It's not something that you could apply um, to all circumstances. You need to understand what they were trying to achieve and basically have my companies that I represent design solutions and then apply that to the solution that BP or PG or EOG wanted at the point in time. We had the internals fabricated in Holland, shipped across to Venezuela, had the vessel fabricated in Venezuela, painted, bringing some technologists out of Brazil, fly them into Venezuela, install the internals into the vessel, make sure the tolerance was kept, yes, and then take that entire vessel and ship across Trinidad. it was ridiculously challenging.
Wow. I'm reliving that experience with you. I'm like, I don't know.
And
I
there were other projects very similar to that with BHP and with BHP, very similar, but each one of them had their own sort of dynamics that would stress the living daylights out. But it was challenging because you're getting to do something that's very novel. Um, that technology that we brought onto that platform was the first one in the group, in the BP group across the globe. Trinidad and TT was the first um, uh, entity to BP entity to actually utilize that technology. And so that was a big deal for my company and my team at the point of time.
wow.
Yeah, that was good
I'm
stress.
just I'm just totally lost for words.
It
It's
was a good stress. Yeah.
good stress. Yes, I need some resilience coaching from you, Ronald. So we'll set that up.
Praise. Praise.
All right, so let's move on to the other question.
Sure.
So help us to understand as a community what impact your current organization team, how you're contributing or intend to contribute to the development of the economy, society. I know you have a whole lot in terms of on the plan. So give us a little snippet in this corner.
All right. Um, our job primarily is awareness, right? The society on a whole needs to understand what it is that you need to do and be aware and sensitized that there is a post-COVID environment. But if your environment is unhealthy, then by extension, you'll be unhealthy as well. So if you take responsibility for the stuff that you do and you make sure that you keep your environment clean, your house, your how you keep yourself, right? How you dispose of your waste, then that's a positive way forward.
Good. So your outlook. What significant changes have you observed over the past 2 to 3 years? And what's your outlook for the next 12 months?
Luckily, there was a change in the US um, government. The Democrats are back in. And so there is now a first world nation that has a priority on sustainability, right? They're now looking at how do we reduce our use of fossil fuel to power our plant. They're looking at more solar energy facilities, power generation facilities, be it solar, be it wind, be it hydro. They're looking at more recycling initiatives. Hopefully they'll be back within the Paris Agreement to work with other nations to alleviate our concern. See?
Got you.
So the next 12 months, I see post-COVID, because the world is consumed, and rightfully so, is consumed with this pandemic, and being alive to see tomorrow.
Hmm.
What we are seeing is that post-pandemic, we have to put things in place so that our generations to come would be alive to see tomorrow.
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
with recycling, it's all about preparing for the generations to come.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. All right. Your hurdles. So
Ooh,
I know we talked about that vessel for BP. So I wanted to
yes.
bring another one. Your second
Um,
most challenging experience. And how did you overcome?
well, for a facility like what we are proposing, doing traditional commercial financing, but layman terms, is simply going to a bank and asking for money and taking a loan. That would not work in a scenario like this. We had to what you call project financing. And so one of the biggest challenges, because this is what we will call a greenfield project, and I'll break it down further. Basically, it's a project that has not been done before in the area which we live. All right, so it has not been done in the Caribbean. It's the first one of its kind in the Caribbean and in Trinidad and in some places in Latin America. So that's what we will call greenfield. And to get financiers, debt and equity to buy into something like that was challenging, right? And so what we had to do is find specific financing bodies that can relate to the type of project that we are proposing. And so we got those guys on board. So that day was a significant challenge to just get the financing bodies to come on board. Um,
Yes.
Another one was feedstock. Where are we going to get the feedstock? And this is where I want the trainees looking on at this. Because for a plant like this to survive, we need to get access to your waste. So if you at home segregate your waste as you would like to do, plastics go one end, cans go another way, bottles go another way, it means that your waste that you segregate would not end up, or the likelihood of it ending up in a landfill is much less.
Hmm.
In our case, we would say, how do I take your plastic and recycle that? When you have initiatives like this from folks, it means that we can now create employment. We can have plant, we can create employment, sustainable employment, because plastic is not going anywhere. We have sustainable employment, and we have a potential now to either reduce the exodus of our foreign exchange in the country or create new foreign exchange. So to manage it and overcome it, it requires help from everyone where that is concerned, not just us.
Community.
Yes,
Community. This is what
yes.
we're about here. Community. All right. So I'm just jumping into the last serious question, so to speak. So we want to tap into that genius mind. What friendly advice do you have for persons getting into business and or leadership?
Okay. People get into business to make money. That you don't get into business to not make money. That's what you do. The key thing is that should you decide to become an entrepreneur, very important, be passionate about what you do. The money will come, but be passionate about what you do. Because if you're not passionate, then it's no longer a career or vocation, it just becomes a job. And regardless of how much money that you would make, eventually you would not have any satisfaction in doing what you do on a daily basis. So
Hmm.
get that passion. Before you get into business, do some serious research. Understand the sphere that you're getting into and see what is your competitive advantage. All right, so do a lot of research and don't just jump into it. Have a proper business plan. If you don't know how to do that, because not everybody knows everything, then seek assistance and get that done. Let it be something that is practical that you can relate to. Don't just pay someone to write a business plan for you, and then when you are asked to go present your business plan to a potential financier, you have no idea what you're speaking about because that was created for you and you haven't had no input in it whatsoever. That makes no sense. Um, Understand financing. You don't need to be a financial expert, but understand financing because it's going to affect your bottom line. Make sure that you surround yourself with people that have the same vision. That is absolutely critical. They must have the same vision. Make sure their expertise in the relevant fields. So you have an accountant, make sure that accountant is an expert at what he or she does. A marketing person, same thing. but make sure you all share your vision. So therefore, you can move forward in a positive pace or at a
Yeah.
positive pace. In terms of leadership, understand the kind of leadership style that you want to bring into your company. There are different types of leadership styles. I wouldn't get into it right now, but understand the kind of leadership style that you want. I always say that leaders lead from the head of the pack, but you need to understand that shepherds lead from the back of the pack. So shepherds will be at the back and they will guide their sheep with dogs and different things, but they will guide their sheep, but they're leading from the back. So every now and again, take a step back. Take a step
Hmm.
back, down throttle, and try leading from the back and see what your sheep does. See if your sheep was paying attention to your leadership style up front, because if they are, then they don't need to be admonished or buffed into doing the right thing. They would have seen it by example. You lead from the back this time, and they give gentle nudges and nuggets of advice. So you take a front role, you take a shepherd's role, you lead from the front, you create the example, and then you step back because you can't be running at that pace all the time. Then you watch to see what your flock does. Yeah?
I love that. We're gonna start to laugh and sing and maybe I don't know, right?
Think
So are
Kumbaya?
you ready? Are you ready for
Yes,
the
man.
other side of C-suite? All
Yes,
right,
man.
let's go. So I say this all the time.
Yes.
We enjoy singing in this corner.
All right.
These are a few of.
My favorite things. Yes, I hear you. Favorite food. I would say anything that has salmon. I truly enjoy seafood in Manila. So if I do venture out to a restaurant, you're guaranteed that I would order something that is that has seafood in it. Guaranteed.
Mm.
I have a particular um, taste when it comes to salmon. I love good salmon. I love my vegetables and stuff like that. So anything related to seafood, song. That depends. I won't say song. I would say music, right? I would say that depends on my mood. I have a love for jazz, all jazz, all jazz. I find it very very relaxing, very very sexy. Neo soul. If I'm looking at something more 2021, I like my neo soul music. Um, and being Trini, I
That's a
love.
surprise, eh? That's a surprise to me. New soul and run.
Oh no,
Okay.
that's also very very sexy. I love my neo soul. Um, and full time calypso. It sometimes it there's one particular song um that I love. It might be Sparrow sang it, and I'm gonna paraphrase it. It's speaking about those who have passed away. I can't remember the name of the song. But every time I hear that song, a tear comes to my eye. Um, because when I submitted the practicum, let's say this Thursday, so I submitted the practicum to the creative creator, and this coming Saturday here, I would have had some of my close friends and family over just to celebrate the accomplishment of finishing the MBA and finishing strong. Um, my father, at the point in time, had a wonderful speech. It was very, very touching, and he expressed his sentiments about the challenges myself and my team would have faced. My team was there, and 4 days after that, he passed away. So, whenever I hear that song by Sparrow, it reminded me of him. And what was interesting about that is that let's say 3 to 4 days he passed away, and that same week I actually got the result. So he was not wrong to hear that we aced it. So you seeing
That's
it?
Let me get that.
It's called Rework. It's right here. Rework. Now, what's interesting about that is that this book challenges every single thing that I would have done from a theoretical perspective. So it spoke about um, not trying to accrue financing for a project. Um, why do a business plan? Everything that you know that you should do. This book spoke about not doing it in the traditional way. So it really challenges your thought patterns, and it's a phenomenal book. Phenomenal book. All right, people, my parents, first and foremost, Victor Pilgrim, Josephine Pilgrim. I mean, they provided information and value, values, and I mean, uh, they are they are my mentors. Truly, I couldn't be where I am if it wasn't for them. God bless them. They both passed, and so I still think about them basically almost every day, and I'm grateful to have their input into my life, and um, they guided me to the place that I am right now. I would have come across some people along the way that I would also call mentors. They're very close friends of mine. And what I love about them is that they were some of my lecturers at LoveJack. And now they're very, very close friends. And they do a lot of counseling and work with my team selflessly. Selfless. And their advice is I mean, they are captains of industry, and I need to mention who they are, right? So, Professor Zafar Khan, he's the MBA champion. He's the one that actually developed the program. He's a mentor. My father actually adored that man, but he told me as much. So, Zafar, this is for you. And Mariano Brown, he was one of my lecturers. Mariano calls a spade, and I respect him for that. Dr. Roger Hussein, I mean, he's a lecturer, close friend of mine. I mean, we speak almost on a daily basis. And when he comes at you, bat in your crease. So he's coming with data driven individual. So when he says something, he says it from a data driven perspective, and he's coming strong at close friend, good advice. Conrad NL, chairman of NGC, um, ultimate statesman. I also speak with him often enough, and he's one that would speak and spoke to us in LoveJack about his softer skills as it pertains to leadership. And he is a phenomenal leader, and he at times provides advice and solace that um, you just can't pay for. Yeah, I'm grateful to these men. Um, Timothy Hamill Smith, he provides legal services for us for free. Any contract that I would have signed, any non-disclosure agreement that I would have involved myself in and signed, Timothy would take it, read it, advise it, amend it, say, Ronald, go ahead and do this. Again for free in the legal.
Wow.
Place outside of Trinidad and Tobago, Cuba. Tash, it is a very, very sexy. The culture, the music, the people.
We let him off the hook for now as we go into his clumsiest moment.
For practicum submission as well, that we have to do a presentation in front of a panel. Now, sometimes this panel will be made up of faculty from the university and or from captains of industry, business associates, and so forth. True captains of industry. And so because you're looking to commercialize this practicum, bring it into reality. We were drilled as if it was a Shark Tank, as if you're looking for finance. And so while the execution of the presentation was smooth enough, the clumsiest part for me was nerves prior to that presentation. I was nervous as hell. I can't remember the last time. The last time I think I would have been as nervous when my first one, and that had me.
All
Anyway,
right, let's talk about your besides poor waste management. What are your
pet peeve. People that pretend to share your vision when really and truly they're envious of your foresight and your character. So they'll sit amongst you and pretend that they understand your struggles, that they want to help, when really and truly, and they say envy is a sin, when really and truly they connive and they try to discourage you at times or put things to throw you off track behind your back. Backstabbers. People who pretend and they're not really there for you.
Hey, we don't need to we don't need to recycle that waste at all. We just need to throw that, bury it, burn it.
Yes.
Get rid of it.
I don't think you have a landfill that will hold that.
No.
Yeah. I get you on that. Oh, well, COVID stopped this. I an advocate for gym. I train in the gym. I mean, my partner and myself we train on the morning. We train at night. Love training gym. I love cycling. It allows me to refocus. I am at peace. I am at great peace when I'm out on the road, especially with a group of other cyclists that know what they're doing. Not amateurs, but those that know what they're doing.
All right,
I
that
am at
counts me
peace.
out.
I am at peace. I get to see things that I normally would not see when I'm driving.
I don't want to tell you how diametrically opposed we are there, but so we have come to the end of this fantastic time together for now. And in closing, as we do in this corner, make a wish.
My wish is that whatever I do professionally or socially, that I impact people's lives tenfold. I impact their lives so that it brings meaning. And I don't need to be noted for it. I want to do something with my life that would impact people in a very, very positive way. And that's my wish.
Wow. Ron, you are an amazing human being.
Thank you.
And I really want to thank you for just taking the awesome opportunity to sit and share with us your passion, your vision, your drive, the advice, the laughs, inspiration. You still was that song. So we coming back for it. Go and practice, get your backup singers and whatever. But on behalf of the key business community, we want to extend a special heartfelt thank you for dropping in on the corner.
I would like to thank you for the opportunity to have myself and by extension my team involved in this wonderful initiative, and I wish you God's grace and continued success.
And as we say it all the time, see you around the corner.